Okay, with the filmmaking team, Kelly Lynn Warren is the director, Ashna Sharan is the writer, the producer, and the star of the film. Shane is the short film, played under 5 minute film festival. A perfect 5 minute film, I like to call this. This film has to do well in the festival circuit. It's an important film, and I really like the idea of like kind of assault, but the perspective of like the next day of two friends talking about it instead of the event itself. We've seen that 1,000 times. We haven't seen this unique story before. So great job, guys. Looking forward to chatting with you about the film.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
So Ashley, you wrote the script and you also star in it. So tell me about kind of writing the script originally and the idea you had to make this film.
Yeah, so I was a peer counselor in college, so I've been very close to this issue for a long time, and I know several people close to me who were also assaulted. So I think it was something that I was part of the Green Dot like bystander program to help prevent the bystander effect on campus, and so I think it was really important to me to have that solidarity, especially among your girlfriends in college, and I think. For me, this film was really a reflection of what can happen when you're unable to communicate something so scary to your best friend or your roommate. So it was really meant to showcase the worst case scenario and hopefully get people to be more open about and less judgmental and be more willing to hear if someone comes to you about abuse.
So it's on the festival circuit now, but you said in the blog interview that your goal is to kind of take it to universities, kind of talk about the film, kind of talk, share the story, to get it out there, I guess, in the university world.
Yeah, I mean we did the film festival circuit mainly because we both work in the industry. Kelly and I
Yep.
have known each other for a long time, but ultimately I think the audience really was meant to be universities, even potentially like seniors in high school, just to really educate and spark dialogue. I think the more we talk about it, the less stigmatized it's going to be, and hopefully people will get more help.
Yeah, 100%. Like the fear of like that, it's the fear of that communication, right? Like of being judged. You're like there's many, obviously many different like kind of emotions that are going on in that situation. Like mainly it's like you're ashamed, I guess, right? Like it's you blame yourself. That's the first instinct, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So tell me about bringing Kelly Lynn Warren, on to direct the film. When did you approach her about the project?
I approached her. I want to say it was early in 2023. It was the summer of 2023 because we
Yeah.
shot it in November. And I came to her with this script and I interviewed a few other directors, but Kelly has directed me before, and she's so talented, both as an actor and a director and a writer. And so when she interviewed for Shame, she just understood the script so well that out of anybody, I was like, she's the one. She's the one to really bring, because her vision was just so incredible. And I think it was very similar to what I wanted as well. So yeah, that's how it came to be. But I'll let Kelly share too.
So Kelly, when did you like? What was your reaction when you first read the script? Because it's according to your interview, it says that you never directed something that was written by somebody else before.
No, this was my first project for that. Yes,
Yeah.
this is my, and I think it's scary to take on somebody's work, especially if all you've been doing is your own, because then it's kind of like, okay, you want to dive into what they wanted to present. You want to bring forth their words in the most honest way. When I first got the script, I was blown away. Ashna is an amazing writer. Um, I always wanted to do something that was very specific to this subject matter because of my own background, but I couldn't write something, and so it was almost like this gift when she brought it to me because it was like, yes, this could be an incredible cathartic thing for me as well as artistic and creative.
And so, in terms of the ending, I wasn't expecting that. I think that's the point of the film, right? Where I maybe because it's my perspective, it's like you're kind of thinking that it's going to be like some 90s sitcom where they're going to talk about it and then everything's going to be okay afterwards. It doesn't go in that direction. And I think that that's sort of like, did it always have to be that ending? Is that the point?
Yes, yes, that's the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, both of you.
I'll
Yeah.
let Ashna talk about Asian culture and why this was very specific to this ending.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. As somebody who is South Asian, I think in general we don't talk about sexual assault nearly as much as we do in America, and even in America, we don't really talk about it. So it's all relative. But I would say there's a very deep-rooted level of shame, and so when it comes to suicide attempts right after a sexual assault happens, that can be very high. I mean, almost I think 1 in 3
Wow.
people who are assaulted at least think about it, and I think 1 in 10 even potentially try. So it's pretty, at least those are the statistics that are recorded, like who
Yeah.
really knows, since so much of it's underreported. But I wanted to shock people. I think I didn't want it to be this like happy ending because unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it's not a happy ending, especially if you don't have a support system and if you don't have people there looking out for you. So that was the purpose of the ending. It
Yeah.
is depressing, but it is meant to hopefully incite change.
Yeah. And it's, yeah, because like I said, it is a shock to the system. It's like you're not, and it just ends too, right? Like it ends tragically. And, yeah, it still gets to you after you watch it a few times, and like I said, that's probably the point. So I want to talk about the making of the film because it's like you have the one location, and I love the production design. I think it's fantastic, and most of the film is in the friend's room. So talk to me about kind of the reason of the things on the walls. I have my own interpretation, but I'm curious about your building the production design in that room, especially.
So
Um,
I will
oh,
defer
go
to
ahead.
Kelly on that one because so Joanna was a production designer that I had worked
Okay.
with. So I was really lucky to be able to hire her for this short, and she's fantastic. But in terms of the vision of the room, I'll defer to Kelly on that one as the director.
You know, we had several conversations about what this room should be for Ashna's character because it was her room, it was her sanctuary, is where she ran to
Okay.
immediately. And if you look around the room and the fact that she's going to the Renaissance Fair, there's almost a fairy-like feeling to it, ethereal. And so she's able to escape and she goes into the bathroom and then she comes back out. And so there is a color differentiation that we bled with from the room into the bathroom, from this golden light into this deep, darker blue light. And so all of that was to follow kind of emotional transitions. It was so much fun working with Joanne. Like she got it. She was
Yeah.
amazing. She put it together when we talked about Renaissance Fair and kind of like the essence of Ashna's character before the rape, because that's really what we're looking at. We're looking at who she was before this
Yeah.
happened. Yeah,
And it's about also too what the future is. Like she's got her future planned out. She's got things on the wall. She's got the fair coming up, and all that's gone, right? Like her world has changed after that, after the assault, right?
right.
So, and then, but then you got the like kind of like the what is it like the leaves on the walls, and then the pictures of like her and her friends, or
Mhm. And
yeah,
Yeah,
the butterfly lights, and yeah,
and then
there's
the boats,
yeah.
right? Like the water and like kind of like it's all kind of leading to this happy future, I guess,
Mhm.
right.
in happy past. Yeah. So yeah, and then her friend is just kind of like living in that moment, right? She's like, that's where she is. That's where her headspace is.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sophia, who did a wonderful job playing Wanda, she really brought that positivity, which was meant to be this strong juxtaposition to my character who's coming in the morning after having been traumatized. And so I think that was the contrast. But Kelly, obviously you can speak to more on the directing portion of it.
Yeah, the characters, one is reflecting the past and the other's reflecting the present.
Yeah.
And then we get a glimpse of the future when Nate calls. and then that's when we're propelled into what nobody could imagine to be, possible. Um, Sophia was extraordinary. We had lost an actress, and Sophia came in literally the day we only had 2 day shoot, and she came in and she was extraordinary, and she just lit up the set and lit up the character, and she's won Best Actress for this as well. So kudos to her. She's amazing.
So what happened then? Like that's stressful.
Yes.
Like independent film, like that's
Is it
not.
stressful, Ashna?
Yes.
So how did like so what did you have a backup in your brain already? Like what? Tell me about that producing hat, like figuring
Uh,
that out.
no, no, we didn't, because it was something that we could not have predicted, and so when it happened, it was right around like when we broke for lunch on day one, and so we had to shift the second half of the day. So Kelly worked with our first AD, and then we mapped out what scenes we could just shoot that were involved me and didn't
Oh
involve
wow. Oh, so you're already
actor.
shooting.
Yeah, we
Wow.
were shooting. Yeah, yeah. This is like day
Oh
one. It
man.
happened during lunch break. The
It's
actress
a two
had
day
to,
shoot.
yeah, she and had to pull
So
out.
a
And
quarter of your
so
shoot, a quarter, basically 25% of your shoot is gone in a sense.
Right, right.
true, but luckily a lot of what we shot in the morning was usable because it was we shot the rape montage first as the first shot of
Okay,
the day. So since
gotcha.
she wasn't in that scene,
Yeah.
so there was still a lot that we were able to utilize in the actual cut. But then that night when we went home on day one, I went through my list of actors while Kelly, I think, was working on ways to figure out how we can change the film without another actor. And
The
I told
script. Okay,
Kelly,
whose story is it now? Like,
Yeah.
and I told Kelly, I
Wow.
said, Kelly, it's a two-person
Yeah,
film.
you
Like we
needed,
have
yeah,
to have a
yeah,
second person.
I believed I could do it.
yeah.
And so I did. I went through and I thought and I called Sophia and Sophia picked up and she was available. It was kind of like the stars were aligned in a way. We got so lucky with her. And she showed up bright and early on time on set and yeah, nailed it. I mean, she
Yeah,
was
she did. She really did. Now, but funny story is that you're all of 5'3", right, Ashna? And
yeah, I'm 5'2".
5
Okay,
2, and Sophia is
Almost
like
like
5'11".
okay.
Now, if we were directing a comedy, this would work. But
Yeah,
but Sophia was such a great sport. Like when you see in the beginning when she grabs her coffee and goes all the way over to pour coffee and then says something to her friend, right? Um, she's duck walking that. She's like all the way duck walking down because she was so tall we couldn't get her in where we needed her between the counter and the cabinets. And
mm,
then we had to redo the scene in the bedroom where we put her on the bed on her knees because originally it was a side by side scene in
yeah.
front of her. And but no, that worked out. So, but she was like whatever we need to do. Like she was just the most extraordinary actress I've ever worked with on set besides Ashna. So
Well, it might have worked out that framing because like the bed is a symbolism of a lot of things, right?
right,
So
right.
so she's having fun on the bed and she's like in her innocence, and then your character just had the worst experience in her life on a bed, right? So
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
that was actually that you mentioned that was actually the way it was originally blocked. She never got on the bed. She never
yeah,
even sat on the bed. Only Sophia's character was on the bed and then
yeah.
stood up. What are you telling me? And stood up at that point. So we had to just reblock, rethink, and everybody was just on their feet because we hadn't, scoped it out that way. But it was beautifully. It turned out beautifully. It really did. The whole thing. Happy accidents. What does Jodie Foster say when you direct and you're directing yourself and you have it all in your head on how it's going to be, you're never going to get those
No,
wonderful accidents.
no.
And so, that's what this was. This was beautiful acting, beautiful accidents. Absolutely.
So actually, there's a lot going on, like, and you gotta you're producing this film, you written it, you wrote it, but you also got to pull off this very difficult performance as well, right? So how do you kind of like, I know it's a kind of hard question, but in the like, how do you get in the moment as a producer, as in like when you're acting at the same time?
Uh, I mean, I want to say it's just practice. It comes with
Yeah,
practice, but I think that the nice thing about it was since I had written it, I was very like into the character, right? Because from the beginning, I kind of had Sophie in my head. And then when Kelly came on board, the rehearsals that she did with me and like kind of we worked together on all of her backstory, what happened to her that night, details, just really flushed it out even more so that I could pull from that when I had to repeatedly do that traumatic, intense
yeah,
scene in the bathroom. And I think the other thing too, and I give kudos to Kelly for this as well, is she chose to do the rape scene, the montage first, as the first shot of the day on day one. And initially, I was very nervous about that because that is such an emotional scene to start your whole day with. But
yeah.
I thought it was really clever because it got me in that mindset so that it carried through essentially. And there are obviously challenges when you're producing and things like this happen where you have to all of a sudden find another actor and
Yeah.
so I didn't get much sleep, but I think honestly it probably helped because I'm Meisner based actress, so I really whatever is in the moment is what I use. So that is what I channeled. So it worked in my favor.
So like maybe just think when you're talking about like the ending scene with the friend because she's oblivious, right? Like I'm not, like I can judge her and say she's not a good friend, but we're human, right? So she's not knowing what's going on. But what happens to your character, like her character is kind of destroyed as well, right? Like how do you get over that? Like as the friend, right? In the future? How do you live on from that? Like that's regret times 1,000, right? So it's almost like the ripple effect of like bad behavior. If I'm not trying to minimize it, but I'm just saying that like your character and then her, right? Like
Yeah. I mean,
that's traumatizing forever, right? So
yeah, and I think that's part of again trying to showcase that the worst case scenario. But I think part of it also comes down to when someone attempts suicide or actually ends up killing themselves, it affects not just the person who died. It's
yeah.
it's their family, it's their friends, it's anybody in their community who knew them, right? There's always this hole that the person who's alive feels of like, what could I have done? Could I have done something more? Did I not ask enough the right questions? Like it does leave a loss. Um, and I think that was the idea for Sophia's character, Wanda.
So the film, like you say, is the festival run over now, or is it? Because I know you got
Not
another film in the works, right? So
Yes. I mean, we hit the circuit last June, so we're actually at a year. And we've done 26 screenings. So I
that's
think there's
amazing.
a handful that we may hear back from that are late in a couple months. But at this point, we feel really, I mean, I'm really proud of what Shame accomplished and how far we got and all the wins, including for Best Director for Kelly, which is very well deserved. So I'm really blessed I feel very grateful to have such an amazing team and an amazing film.
You guys gonna work together again?
Oh yeah.
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 Oh yeah. Ajna's an extraordinary actress. She was in my. I actually directed her in a comedy. Was the first thing I directed her in, and it's a YouTube series called Karen with a C, and she is hysterical, and she plays this assistant. But the honesty in which because comedy is some of the hardest stuff to do because you
Mhm.
just got to be honest. You got to be honest and you got to be funny. So how do you put those two together? And I think that was a point where I was like, oh my God, she's extraordinary. Like I wanted to work with her again after that. And then this came about, and I had no doubt she would nail it with because she's just a grounded, focused actress, one of the best for sure.
That's amazing. And so you have a film now that did you like you produced it and act in it right now, like proof of
Feminist.
concept? Yeah.
Yes, yes. We're actually premiering officially. We're having our world premiere on July 26th in LA at LA Shorts. So I'm very excited to
Oh
announce that.
wow, good festival, good for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
very grateful. We're really excited. But yeah, I wrote that, I produced it, and I'm also playing one of the leads.
That's amazing. So before we leave you guys, we always ask people, you did the blog interview, so we always ask people, I'm going to ask you too, Kelly, what your answer is, but we ask people what film they watch the most times in their life. And do you remember what your answer was?
Oh, mine? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, mine's Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Okay. So as we're doing this podcast, there's a new film going on. If you're anywhere, everywhere I churn, it's like they're promoting this movie. Scarlett
Yep.
Johansson is on every TV show,
Yep.
known the man, promoting this film as we're doing this podcast. So I don't know what is it, the sixth or seventh one, but it's like this is like so. Jurassic Park is your answer, right? You saw. I'm assuming you saw it when you were a kid,
Yes, and I've seen it probably 100 times.
100
I know
times.
every line in that movie. Yeah.
And is the best? Is the first one the best one?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 It will always be the best. I don't think you can top it. Yeah.
When you watch it as a kid, did you have aspirations to like be in the movies and be an actor?
From Jurassic Park, yes. I think just Steven Spielberg is a visionary. I mean, he's a genius. It goes without saying. And I think seeing that movie just made me fall in love with what movie magic and what Hollywood can do. And I think I just knew that I needed to be there.
Cool. And so Kelly, I given you some time to think about it. What film have you watched the most times in your life?
Oh, I don't have everybody knows that knows me when Harry met Sally.
Oh, okay. We're hearing Met Sally. Okay. I've seen that. I've seen that quite a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm obsessed. They actually, there's, I think Rob Reiner just released a little mini book about it
Oh,
and his
did he?
thoughts on it or something. Yeah, I just read this article and I'm like, okay, I've got to read this. It's like,
Yeah. You know what? I didn't know that. I have to read that too.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
or maybe, I don't know. It might have been an article. I don't know. There's something more that he's written, and so I want to. Everything that's ever been written about it, I've read. I'm obsessed with it.
Well, he went on a great directing. This is you're probably before your time, Ashna, but he went on a directing run that's unprecedented. Like what he did, he made like five great movies in a row, which is almost impossible. Like he did This Is Spinal Tap, Princess Bride. This is the top of my head. Stand by Me, Harry Met Sally, and then he did Few Good Men, right?
Right.
Like all in a row. That's a pretty amazing run of films.
Wait,
That
did he
that
do A Few Good Men? I thought A Few Good Men was Aaron Sorkin, or maybe it was written by him,
he
right?
Aaron Sorkin wrote it, yeah, but he
Oh, but
directed
I
it.
didn't realize Rob
Yeah,
directed it. Oh my gosh.
that's an amazing
He's
run of like that's an
yeah,
amazing run of
he's
films. And
and not
they're
just
all
that.
different too, right? So
Right, the dynamic aspects of his points of view in
yeah,
these particular films are extraordinary. I mean, The Princess Bride is forever a classic. My God. You know, generations watch it. I introduced it to my children, who now I introduce it to my grandchildren. So,
and then this is Spinal Tap kind of created the mockumentary, right? Like it's the
right.
first. It was done like, but that was like the first mainstream hit, and of course it went on television and it's been done a million times, right? Like The
And so many
Office.
people actually think it's real. Like they believe
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Spinal Tap is a real crew. I'm like, no, dudes.
And Stand By Me, I was the kid's age when that film appeared, right? So
Right.
really, it kind of like touched me when I saw it. Like I saw it in the movie theater. I was like blown away. It was like they really nailed that like the white male suburban kid, right? Like kind of like all the angst that we had. But I'm kidding by saying that, but it's like it really kind of nailed that kind of tone, right? So
Yes.
yeah. And then yeah, so that's then Harry Met Sally, which I've seen. Yeah, it's an amazing film. You seen it, Harry Met Sally?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen This Is Spinal Tap or the one that
Oh
you
my
mentioned.
God.
I haven't
Yes.
seen that
Oh
one.
yeah, you got to see it. You saw
Yeah.
Princess Bride?
Yeah, Princess Bride, of course. That's
Okay.
a
Okay.
classic. And then The Few Good Men, I know that one actually pretty close to all the lines almost. But I didn't know the other one that you mentioned, the other two.
Stand by Me.
Stand by Me, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's a great.
Oh, it's a beautiful film.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think one of the things that stood out in that film for me was the realization at that age that not everybody has the same family life.
yeah,
And because that's really when it hits you, is that, oh, my life is different than their life, and how is it different? And and then stuff about abuse and alcoholism. I mean, there's such layers to that film on what is heaped on these children.
yeah,
And we were the latchkey kids, so we watched this, and yes, this was our life, roaming the woods looking for a dead body.
yeah, yeah. It's about, yeah, and it's about like, yeah, exactly. But it's about, like, for me, when I remember watching it, it was about love. It was about, we all, kids have different parents who give different types of love, right? And the main character is getting none, right? Even though he's got the most stable family by the perspective, but he's getting no love from his parents, right? So yeah, so it's a good movie to watch.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put that on my list.
Yeah, put it on your list. Yeah. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time. I think it's like I said, it's a fantastic film, and really nicely directed, nice production design, nice sound design, nice edited, just like a nice, and it's perfectly timed. It's like a perfect 5 minute film. And like I said, that ending is like, you don't see it coming, right? So, and fantastic job. So I'd love to see you. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this your next film, if I can, and seeing. I'll keep an eye on both of you. So we'll probably, hopefully, we'll talk again, and when we showcase your next films.
That
Okay,
sounds
thank
lovely.
you.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
have a good one.